I am going to ask you a very simple question, but this question has shaken the faith of many people throughout history. It caused some to lose it entirely, while leading others to a much deeper place. Here is the question. If God exists, why is he hidden? Wait, do not answer yet, because asking this question takes much more courage than it seems. In the Bible, God appeared to people. Moses saw him in the fire. Abraham hosted him in front of his tent. Elijah heard him in the wind. The prophets saw visions. But that era is over. In the last 2,000 years, these 2,000 years where billions of people have prayed, begged, and waited, God has not come down from the sky even once. A mother who lost her child in an earthquake asked, no answer came. A young man about to be killed in war asked, no answer came. A man crying alone in a hospital corridor asked, no answer came. Why? For 3,000 years, the smartest people have searched for an answer to this question. Today, we are going to look at those answers, and let me tell you, none of them are easy. First, we have to ask this question. Why was God so active in the Bible? Because when you look at the Bible, God speaks, appears, and intervenes. He spoke with Adam. He warned Noah. He tested Abraham. He appeared to Moses in the fire. He guided Israel in the desert. He sent visions to the prophets. God was there. He was active. He responded. But something changed when transitioning from the Old Testament to the New Testament. In the New Testament, God no longer speaks directly. He speaks through Jesus. And after Jesus, silence. Paul writes letters, but he does not say he heard God's voice directly. He says he saw a vision. John sees the revelation on the island of Patmos, but that too is a vision. There is no direct contact, and this silence has continued until today. Theologians call this Deus absconditus, Latin, meaning the hidden God. So this silence is not an accident. It is accepted as a part of God's nature. But why? This question has occupied not only clergymen, but also philosophers for centuries, and every era produced a different answer. The first answer, free will. This is the most common answer. If God revealed himself, man would no longer have the freedom to choose. Believing out of fear or out of the obligation of having seen is not true faith. Real love cannot be forced. Neither can real faith. That is why God hides himself, so that the choice can be yours. Logical. But an objection comes immediately. Well, God revealed himself in the Bible. Moses saw him. Abraham saw him. Did they not have free will? Why did they see him, but we cannot? The second answer, humanity cannot handle it. In the book of Exodus, Moses asks God, I want to see your face. God answers, you cannot see my face, for no man can see me and live. Meaning the full presence of God is beyond what the human mind can bear. You cannot fit the sun inside a light bulb. This answer is appealing, but it brings up another question. Couldn't God appear in a limited form? He appeared to Moses in the fire. Why doesn't that happen anymore? The third answer, God is already here. Some theologians say something different. It's not that God is hidden. We just cannot see him. There are volunteers risking their lives to save hundreds of people in an earthquake. God is there. There is someone holding the stranger's hand, sitting by their side, even when they have nothing to say. God is there. There is that thing that shivers through you when you hear beautiful music. God is there. Perhaps God is hidden because he did not choose a body to show himself. He chose people. This answer is very beautiful. But is it enough for someone dying alone in a hospital? Philosophers gave this question a name, theodicy, aklomaktandria, meaning this question, if God is good, powerful, and all-knowing, why is there so much suffering? And why does he remain silent while there is so much pain? It is not only philosophers who ask this question. The Bible itself asks it. Job, a righteous, good, God-fearing man, and he loses everything, his children, his wealth, his health, and he asks at great length, why, my God, "Why me? What did I do?" His friends come. "You must have done something," they say. "God is never unjust." Job refuses. "No, I did nothing." And finally, God speaks. But he does not give an answer. On the contrary, he asks, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Did you draw the boundaries of the sea? Did you create the morning stars?" Meaning, God is saying this: you cannot understand. But Job's question remains unanswered, and this lack of an answer has been sitting inside humanity for 3,000 years. Now, I am going to share with you one of the most shocking answers given to this question in history. The year is 1944, the Auschwitz concentration camp. A young Jewish boy, along with a few elderly men in the camp, is holding a secret religious meeting, and something strange happens in that meeting. God is put on trial. 3 rabbis establish a court. They accuse God. "You broke the covenant. Have you looked at your people? How can you watch this?" The trial continues. God is not defended. God is found guilty. The verdict is announced. And at that moment, a silence falls. Then someone stands up. He says, "It is time for the evening prayer." And they all pray, right after condemning God. This story is based on the writings of Elie Wiesel, a Jewish writer who survived Auschwitz. And this story asks this: you can blame God, you can be angry with him, you can judge him, but what will you do after that? Some people lost their faith, others went to a deeper place. Both are responses that we can understand. 3,000 years have passed since Moses, since Job, since Auschwitz, and the question is still the same. Why is God hidden? There is the free will answer, but Moses saw him. There is the humanity cannot handle it answer, but God appeared in a limited form. There is the God is already here answer, but is it enough for those who suffer? And then there is that answer given to Job: you cannot understand. Perhaps the truth is this: this question is not for an answer. It exists to be asked, because a person who asks this question is someone who takes God seriously. Someone who does not care would not ask it. And perhaps God's silence is not a rejection. It is an invitation. Seek, ask, doubt, but do not give up. Which one do you think is true? Write it in the comments. In the next video, we will discuss the topic, Did God ever make a mistake? The shocking verses in the Bible. Subscribe now so you do not miss it.